and welcome back to Azure Terraformer. Today I'm going to be talking about an interesting productivity tool that I've been playing around with a lot recently, and that is custom ChatGPTs. Now, as you know, I use ChatGPT a lot. I use it on the web. I use it on my phone. It's actually really creepy using it on the phone because it actually feels like you're talking to a person. And I've had long conversations about classical music and law schools, for my son, who's interested in becoming a lawyer someday, and all sorts of different things. And it's just the mobile app is really incredible. I ran a poll on my LinkedIn page just to ask the rest of you, like, how do you guys interact with ChatGPT, or do you even use it? And the results, have kind of come in. It looks like out of 140 voters, 59% of you guys use the ChatGPT website. And I'm assuming that's because you want to take advantage of the more advanced models and maybe even play around with DALL-E to generate images. Or maybe you just like that Q&A kind of back and forth kind of conversational interface. And 29% of you prefer to use GitHub Copilot, which, don't get me wrong, I finally figured out how to get my GitHub Copilot license set up through my Microsoft account. And it's been really interesting the way it kind of the autocomplete works. And I know there's a ton of different ways to interact with it. I saw a really nice talk by Drake Lindstrom at Columbus Coffee and Code, where he went into this in great depth, and a lot of different ways of prompting and interfacing with GitHub Copilot within VS Code, which is amazing. I guess I'm just like an OG dev, and kind of like my first dev was in essentially Notepad. So, I'm not used to all the bells and whistles, but, in terms of how I code. But that being said, I absolutely like the autocomplete, and the IntelliSense definitely seems smarter. So I definitely include GitHub Copilot as part of the way that I use large language models in my day-to-day. But my preference is the website and that mobile app, just for conversations about oddball stuff. But it looks like even 9% of you guys still are using just Google. Like, you don't even use ChatGPT, and that just blows my mind. Now, I still use Google. Don't get me wrong. Like, these aren't mutually exclusive, right? I don't think ChatGPT is even to the point where it knows everything. And I think a colleague of mine described it like this: sometimes it just has like a hallucination, right? And it just makes stuff up out of thin air that aren't even real. You do have to work with ChatGPT with some amount of grain of salt. And I feel like the most success that I have with ChatGPT is giving it very focused instructions. But it's nearly impossible to just copy pasta directly out of ChatGPT, whether it's code or any sort of meaningful intellectual endeavor. You want to be careful with that. Maybe just prompt it to do some basic editing, grammar correction, spell checking, things like that. And essentially you've got a high-powered Grammarly. Anyways, what I wanted to talk to you guys today about was how to create custom ChatGPTs. And so many of you have seen my announcement about the Azure Terraformer custom ChatGPT, which I highly recommend you guys check out. It is in the store. So if you're in the ChatGPT website, you can go to Explore GPTs and you can just search up Azure Terraformer. And there it is right there. And we've already got 100+ chats going on Azure Terraformer. So awesome stuff. I have done the same thing for that other cloud platform, AWS. Interestingly, they wouldn't let me use AWS in the name of it, nor would they let me use the word Terraform itself. Apparently those are protected by the algorithm or constraints put on the model so that you can't name things, which I guess makes sense. You don't want to impersonate another company or something like that. Hey, this is the Elon Musk ChatGPT. Although that would be kind of fun. Maybe I could experiment with that. I could try and create a ChatGPT custom ChatGPT that simulates being Elon Musk. Anyways, what I want to talk to you about is this is actually a really useful productivity tool. And some of you might be wondering, well, how would I use this? And really, I think you need to evaluate how you use ChatGPT and the common prompts that you use for certain repetitive tasks. I think when you found a certain repetitive task that you always prompt it a certain way, this is an ideal use case for a custom ChatGPT. And so, of course, Azure Terraformer, it's like, hey, what I'm trying to do there is I'm trying to tap into more detailed documentation of Terraform. I'm trying to bring in the most recent documentation of Terraform. I'm trying to tell the ChatGPT how it can look things up on the internet in the way that I've configured the Azure Terraformer. So if we go look at this, you can go to my GPTs, and then you can go edit your custom GPTs. And then this is the interface. Like when you start and create a new one, this is what you're going to see. Of course, it's going to be more boilerplate, and it's almost like a chat-based wizard that you go through. But here, this one's already created, so it's like, welcome back. Now, once you go to configure, you can go look in and see, you can see kind of the culmination of all of the prompting, all of that text-based wizard that it had you go do. And you can further customize it. And so there's basic metadata like the name and the description, but then the instructions, this is really what is the most important thing. And honestly, I did a whole lot more prompting to get the instructions to look like this. I didn't paste these, I didn't type these instructions in here. These instructions were formulated by ChatGPT itself and put into the instructions based on the feedback and the repetitive conversations that I had with the ChatGPT builder interface. And so you can see here, I've got some things where I'm giving it detailed instructions about how to reference the Terraform documentation using different provider names and different versions of the provider to hopefully help it know how to navigate those websites. And then you go down here, and then there's some conversation starters that clearly show up in the interface over here. Then there's other capabilities like web browsing to allow it to go access the internet. DALL-E image creation, which I probably should turn off for this one, because when this is really weird. You're asking a Terraform questions, and then it generates an image. No, I don't need to see some silly image, right? Now, create new actions. This is what I want to get into on my own, where you can set up your own API. And I'm thinking about building an Azure function that's going to interface with this. But of course, I need to understand the schema, and I need to understand how these API references can feed the beast here. So for the Azure Terraformer, I'm thinking, maybe I need to do some sort of mechanism where I allow based on the prompts that I've given it, I've given it some basic details about, what a Terraform provider name looks like, what a Terraform provider version looks like, how to identify a resource. And so maybe part of that API interface I could build is, hey, give me a resource ID and a version number and a provider, and I'll go give you the exact, documentation for that thing in a kind of a semi-structured way. That's where I'm kind of thinking I might be able to make this better by extending it beyond what you can do with the ChatGPT interface. But again, I got to experiment with that and play around with it and figure out what this open API schema is. I'm assuming it's some sort of JSON schema that describes the request response parameters that my ChatGPT is going to send out to my Azure function where that I host, and then I have to send back open API schema back to the ChatGPT so it can gather some insights from my API. So that'll be interesting as I develop that on the channel, but definitely go check out the Azure Terraformer ChatGPT and see how it's doing. And please give it feedback. Let me know on the comments in this video how it works, how it's working out for you, and all that. I'm very curious to know. Now, the other ChatGPT that I wanted to talk about was this tech video marketer, right? So I'm a YouTuber. I share my videos on LinkedIn and Twitter and different places like that. And the descriptions for my video content, I don't feel like they're, how do you say, an intellectual endeavor worth my time really typing them up, by hand, every single one of them, right? So actually, ChatGPT is a wonderful tool to help me more efficiently publish my content, create helpful descriptions and titles that are going to catch the eye and let people know about what's in my video content. Because really where I'm pouring my heart and my soul is in the video content, guys. It's not in the titles. It's not in the descriptions. Okay. I'm making video content. That's what I do. If I wanted to make text content, I'd go be a blogger, right? And I definitely wouldn't be generating blog articles using ChatGPT. Maybe I might use it for editing or spell checking or things like that. But the intellectual effort of writing should be done by the human, right? It could be polished by the ChatGPT, but not done by ChatGPT. Otherwise, like, what value are you really bringing? So the value that I'm bringing in my videos is the video. So I feel like the descriptions, I can definitely give license to ChatGPT to help me out. So I've created this tech video marketer, and I'm just going to try it out right now. All right. So I'm going to I'm going to prompt my tech video marketer about the content of this video right now that I'm recording for you. Video demonstrating.
A few moments later.
Okay. So this is, a pretty rough like brain dump of like what this video is about, right? It's all about, hey, I did a little bit of a dog and pony about ChatGPT store, custom ChatGPTs, what the capabilities are. Now I'm like getting into the meat of what this custom ChatGPT that I made called Tech Video Marketer or Marketeer. Okay, kind of like the Rocketeer. That's pretty cool. How it can help other YouTube creators that are creating technical content spend, better use of their time. Let's see what it produces. So it's creating an image, because part of the prompt for this is, hey, create a banner. Don't just create an image, create a banner, because banners have certain dimensions that make them wide enough to be used for YouTube thumbnails. So that's part of the prompt for the image. But then once this is done, you'll see what else it does.
A few moments later.
So this is pretty interesting. Okay, so it creates a banner. It tries its best to create a banner, okay? Maybe I could work on the banner prompt a little bit better. Or maybe in my description, I could give it more guidance on what the banner should include versus not include. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad banner, like you might have to put some opacity filters on this in order to get your own like title on top of that. Because let's face it, like you cannot rely on DALL-E to create to create readable English. Like it's not going to happen. It's not going to work out well for you. However, my YouTube title, Build Your Own ChatGPT Inside Azure Terraformer and Tech Video Marketeer Creation. Yeah, that's pretty good. YouTube description, LinkedIn like this looks, dive into the world of custom ChatGPTs. With our latest video, we explore the new ChatGPT store and take you step-by-step walkthrough through the creation of Azure Terraformer, our custom ChatGPT. Watch as we unveil its conversational interface, final configuration, delve into its advanced capabilities. Couldn't have said it better myself. We also integrate ChatGPT actions. Now, we don't exactly integrate, so I'm going to have to customize this. It's integrated in the video, but not like I'm not actually doing the integration, so that's a bit confusing. Using the OpenAI specification, yeah, that's a bit confusing. Plus a special feature, a custom ChatGPT for tech video marketing, designed to optimize your YouTube metadata effortlessly. Perfect for creators who value content over fluff. Subscribe for more tech insights. There we go. And then boom, there we go. Exciting news, tech enthusiasts. This is one of those tropes that ChatGPT always uses, like tech enthusiasts. Anytime I see the word tech enthusiasts or the word crucial, I kind of feel like it's ChatGPT. Like look on LinkedIn and like you might be able to notice this too. Crucial, like it has these kind of dogmatic phrases that it overuses, I think. Where I reveal the process behind creating Azure Terraformer, a custom ChatGPT. From its conversational prowess to integrating with web APIs, it's a game changer. Also showcasing a unique ChatGPT for tech video marketing. link it out and streamline. Oh, check it out and streamline your YouTube content strategy. There you go. Twitter post, new video alert. Ever wonder how to build a custom? Yeah, this is beautiful. I love it. And then it just talks about the banner, right? Which I'm not a huge fan of the banner. Now I could add like other social media prompts on here, but do you see how the tech video marketeer only is like boom, 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 boom. I was very, very specific about what outputs I wanted. I'm like, dude, I only want a YouTube title. I only want a YouTube description. I only want a LinkedIn post, and I only want a Twitter post, nothing else. Okay, use some hashtags, put a placeholder for a YouTube link. That's it. Okay, and then the rest is history. But the first time that I like created this prompt, it didn't do that. It was just like, you know, it read what I said. It read what I typed in there, which I want this to be efficient. So I'm like, as a content creator, I just want to type like what my content's about, and then just have it go produce these things, right? So I did that. But the first time, you know, Tech Video Marketeer took that and was like, good question. Let me tell you. It assumed that I was asking questions about like ChatGPT. And so it was like trying to explain it to me. But I don't want it to explain it to me. I want you to do these 5 things. Create a banner, YouTube title, YouTube description, LinkedIn post, Twitter post. That's it. And finally, I was able to get it to do that. So I'm going to be using this. I encourage you, if you have a YouTube channel, you know, use this too. Check it out. You know, you might want to read it before you post it, because there's some stuff like I'm definitely gonna tweak this right here, because I feel like that's false. Like I'm not integrating ChatGPT actions in this video. Like that's not happening, and I'm not using the Open API specification. I make a reference to it. So the rough and dirty description that I wrote, which is just like solid brain dump, doesn't convey those nuances, right? And it kind of extrapolated a little bit too far than I'm comfortable. So I'm gonna have to edit this. But anyways, yeah, custom ChatGPTs. Any repetitive process that you have where you see yourself prompting ChatGPT over and over again the same way, this is a fantastic tool. You just have to give it the guardrails, and you might have to reiterate yourself a few times to really tell it, no, don't tell me anything other than this exact output every time, right? And eventually it'll get it, right? So I hope you found that useful. And if you have a burgeoning tech YouTube channel or any YouTube channel, check out the Tech Video Marketeer and see how it might be able to speed up your content workflow. Anyways, that's it from me. This is a little bit off topic at the Azure Terraformer, but I do feel like ChatGPT is the new normal for software developers and for cloud developers in general. So it's an important tool to know how to use. And even though this use case obviously only applies to social media influencers or content creators, you can see how this tool can be applied to solve repeatable problems. You just have to apply it within your context. Anyways, that's it from me. This is the Azure Terraformer, signing off.